Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
we are recording and we're live on YouTube. So whenever you're ready.
I'm ready right now. I'd like to call a meeting to order. Roll call. Let me back up a little bit. Welcome to Environmental Impact Commission agenda meeting, April 14, 2021, web-based meeting hosted on Zoom. We'll start with our attendance. Dr. Mary,
Here.
Chef Harold,
Here.
Mark Massoud,
Here.
and Bernie Geller. We have a quorum. Okay, first item on the agenda is the acceptance of the minutes. Everyone here can vote on them at this time. Need a motion?
Make a motion, we accept the minutes as presented.
Second,
Motion made and seconded to accept the minutes as presented. Any changes, additions, deletions? Finding none, I'll try your mind. Roll call vote. Dr. Mary,
Yes.
Jeff Harold,
Yes.
Mark Massoud,
aye.
Bernie Geller is a yes. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is old business. Regulated activity 1129 Encompass Health. Mark, did you have anything to add? Oh, I'm sorry. Ward?
Yes, good evening, Mr. Chairman. Thanks for allowing us to join the meeting tonight. Eric Lindquist, our engineer, will be joining momentarily. We did see the proposed conditions of approval that were sent out a few days ago, and they all seem very reasonable and expected, and we are grateful for your consideration of them. Then there was an additional set that we received late in the day today, and Eric did have some tweaks in mind, and if the commission would allow me to do so, I can pull them up on the screen. We tracked changes, and you can see what tweaks we have in mind, if that would be okay.
I'm on, by the way. Ward.
Go ahead, Ward.
Oh, you are on. There you are. Right. I'm sorry, I missed that, Mr. Chairman.
Ward, did you want to bring them up on the screen?
Okay, sure, will do. I guess I have to be allowed to share.
Oh,
my-
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Not yet.
I'm going to try again,
Oh, there
Ward.
we go. There we go. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So this, Eric, you're the best person to take us through the changes and let me know how you want me to shift the document.
It's no problem. I have it on my screen as well, so I can read as I go. But just some of these comments were things that we can't necessarily, as engineers, agree to, especially when it comes to supervising and contractors' works and things like that. I just had made some recommendations for potential tweaks, and like I said, the first one here, this one required us to, I guess, submit our qualified professional or engineer to the commission for approval. I mean, whoever we have do this work would be a qualified erosion control inspector or a professional engineer, and we could definitely guarantee that will be the case. But I didn't know if there was a need to have like an interview process or whatever was being recommended here for the applicant to come in front of the commission. So I just kind of tweaked that just to say they will be a certified professional. Then there was a thing in here about 48 hours, just in case the inspection happened on a Friday. I made it 2 business days. And then instead of pollution, I said sedimentation and erosion to the wetlands, since that's what the source of pollution is going to be, and that's what the primary concern of these inspections will be. The next one I tweaked a little was number 4. Typically what we do with the city of Danbury is I will write a conformance letter that says that the system was installed in substantial conformance to the plans, which is to say that the system's inverts and size of pipes and all those things were installed and the system will function as intended. And that's usually the language that we use and submit to the city. So I just revised it to be what the letter actually typically says. The next one was about direct supervision. That's why I said before, we can't sign off on that. We can observe the installation of systems, and the only thing that I would need to be out there to witness would be the subgrade and the installation of the stormwater retention system. Most of the other installs, like pipes and catch basins, I don't need to be there on site to see them installed, and it's not necessary to be out there and witness every linear foot of pipe installed. But they will be picked up on the as-built survey, and the inverts will be caught, so we'll be able to verify certain things about it. And there'll be other things I'll be able to field verify, or another engineer will be able to field verify, such as the level spreaders and things like that, because they will obviously be visible. Additionally, on this, I limited it just to, like I said, I limited just to the system, and it was calling for us to provide a record plan, but typically what we do is the contractor will provide an as-built survey, which will show all this information on it, and we will include that.
Can you excuse me 1 second? I just got a text from Matt Pop saying that he needs to be let into the meeting.
Oh, all right.
Sorry.
I'll try. Oh, here we go. Thank you so much, Ward. I did not see that.
No problem. Thank you very much, Mary.
You're welcome.
And then the next, moving forward, thanks, Ward. I also said the selected site contractor shall provide the as-built instead of the engineer providing some sort of record plan. The contractor will, or the owner could do it as well. We'll reach out to a surveyor, or the contractor will have their own in-house surveyor or someone that will tabulate where everything is, update any inverts as needed if things got tweaked, because you can't obviously install the hundredths out in the field a lot of times, so things will get tweaked, obviously. But that'll verify for me when I sign off on the drawings that it's in substantial performance of the plans, that it's matching up, and that we'll kind of get the intention of what these conditions are looking for, while being more realistic to what we can submit. The next one, a maintenance and inspection plan, absolutely, we will provide that. And I just said it will be submitted with the as-built survey when it's done. We usually provide one with the engineering report. It wasn't provided this time, but I can definitely pull that together. It's a pretty standard boilerplate thing about cleaning catch basins, inspecting pipes, inspecting the stormwater retention system, looking at the outfalls, making sure there's nothing clogging them. We're calling for a sweeping or things like that. So that's not a problem. We'll definitely pull that together. And then on the last comment, number 8, I wasn't sure if we needed to do the wetland upland buffers. I figured the wetlands is already flagged, obviously, so that's taken care of. And then showing a line for the limit of the disturbance, so we can obviously show where that is, and people can evaluate and look and see how close they are. And the intent would be obviously only to clear up to the areas we've shown disturbed on our plans. I wasn't sure if there was a need for an approval at that point. I was just worried that that could tie things up if someone wanted to save an oak tree that was inside the site or something like that, or I don't know what, but I was just trying to make it a little bit more straightforward. But those would be the recommendations I have to it. So I throw those back at you guys and let you comment or provide any other feedback you have.
Mark, did you want to address this?
Sorry, I couldn't hear that, Mr. Chairman.
Did you want to address this, Mark?
Sure, Mr. Chair. The first point, it wasn't meant to have the qualified professional either approved in any manner. It was to identify that person to the commission staff, so they know who it is. And in the applicant summary of the water quality, or of the erosion control, the water quality permit from DEEP, I think it said something. There was a reference to a district leaving an initial survey up to the district or up to the qualified professional. I didn't know what the intent or what the district is, and I was trying to avoid. I wanted a specific qualified person to do that initial assessment, as opposed to just giving notification to DEEP with that regards. So I wanted to have a specific person do that, and have that person be identified to the staff, or to the commission and to the staff.
Yeah, we can absolutely, I didn't know if that was needed right now or not, but I just wanted to, because I'm not sure who that person will be. This will likely happen months from now. So I'm taking it as long as we notify you in advance, 48 hours or whatever the case may be, that would be acceptable. I just don't know which qualified professional I would use or that the firm would use or whoever it would be at this point anyways.
Well, that's fine, as long as that person does that initial assessment of the site and it's identified and settled prior to the initiation of site work.
So Mark, has this change that I just made, okay? Do you see the blue change?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
The item 1, we're all set.
Item 1 is set.
Item 2.
Item 2. Okay, I understand the point about 2 business days after the initial site inspection. That's fine. Sediment and a change to sediment or erosion to the wetlands. Right, and the purpose of course number 2 is to have a rather immediate response to staff if and when that qualified professional identifies any issues, so that staff has that knowledge and can either go to the site or be aware that that there may be some potential issues.
Matt Pop, landscape architect. With just the word immediate, I probably would try to put a time frame on that, what that actually means. You know, if it's 1 day, 12 hours, or the same day, or
I would say same day.
yeah, okay.
Okay, we're set with 2 now.
I'll put that in for that. Is that okay,
Okay.
Mark?
Okay.
Sure, that's fine.
Okay, item 3, we're all set, Mark.
Yes, sir.
How about item 4?
I understand the point about not having to supervise. So the point was to have knowledge and have some kind of certification that the stormwater system was installed as proposed. I think I'd object to the proposed change in that I really do think that there needs to be some review and certification that the plan, because you as the applicants are proposing that the plan will meet certain water quality standards. And I'd like at the end of the plan to have some statement that the plan essentially, substantially, or meets the water quality standards as they were laid out. So I object to the water quality standards part being taken out. Again, I do understand the point with reference to not having to supervise, every pipe that goes in. This is to say that the system was installed essentially, as it was intended, but including water quality standards.
Mark, let me ask a question. If the original plan meets the water quality standards and the plan doesn't change and he certifies that the system was installed according to plan, does that help get you where you want to be?
With a reference to the stormwater quality standards, it would.
The only thing I would note here is this: once we're done with the EIC review, we do have to go get a planning and zoning review, which engineering will review it. And I'd usually work with Dave Knoll on all the toll projects in the neighborhood as well. And the way this review is done, he reviews the stormwater quality calculations that we included in these and sees that they're meeting the requirements. that we're in the Lake Kenosha, and we've done all the things associated with those regulations, and he signs off on that we've met those criteria. And this is the language that the city of Danbury, through Dave Nolan, through their department, usually and will eventually, when we go through them, put on the plans as well. So it does encompass it all, but if we need to do more, well, then we'll be more than happy to add some additional language. I just worry about giving guarantees on anything that it's, I mean, I could say it is intended to meet them or whatever. It's just, I just usually use this language, and that's the language you usually use. But if we can try and add some additional verbiage to meet what you're trying to get at.
Well, maybe that could also include a statement, or I don't know if the engineering department normally makes a statement to the Inland Wetlands Agency with regards to meeting design criteria, or that it meets the, I don't know how to put it, meets the meets those standards.
Well, he won't necessarily provide you guys with anything, but he'll review my plans, and if it doesn't meet them, he'll make comments and make me meet them. So we have met them. I've worked with Dave enough to know what he wants and needs on the plans, but when he reviews it, if there's some mishap I had where I didn't meet something, he will call it out and point it out and make me change it. But that's what his review will encompass and entail, and that's what we usually have done in the past. But
How about if we added to item 4 a further statement that before commencing construction, the consulting engineer shall obtain the approval of the city engineer of the final sedimentation and erosion control plan.
it'll be more about drainage, but yeah.
Yeah, this is more in reference to the
Drainage.
water quality, to the design of the system as it meets water quality standards. And this is more after construction, more at the end of the project that I think that I'm talking about.
Yeah, but what Ward's trying to say is that we'll get the buy-in that the system is meeting those standards from engineering, and that the city will sign off on the fact it meets those standards. And as long as I say that we did the plans in conformance with those approved plans, it's capturing everything you're looking for.
How about this addition, Mark? Would that help? And Eric, is that all right?
Okay, and
Water
that,
quality requirements or
and
something.
at the end of the project, the plan is, there's a statement that says that the plan was installed substantially as proposed, something to that effect.
And that's what the first sentence says, I think. So I think we're covered. There's actually, probably this sentence belongs first, now that you mention it. Good point. Let's put that one first. And then, so this tells you what happens before construction, and then the second sentence deals with the end of the project.
Okay, I think that's fine.
Live with that one, Mark?
Yes, I am.
Okay, we'll go to number 5.
I think we talked about that a little bit. I understand that the purpose was not to have the engineer review and look at every catch basin and outlet and inlet that went in, but to provide a statement at the end of the project that it meets design criteria.
And usually these two would kind of be combined, 4 and 5, because I don't sign off on it until I've done those things. I can't sit there and say it was done in substantial conformance unless I saw it was.
Right.
I don't see this. If I don't go out there and witness the stormwater installation or one of my engineers, I can't verify they wrapped it in filter fabric, put it on good soil, put the stone bedding, all that stuff. So we go out and watch that for that system because it's critical. So in order for me to write that substantial conformance letter, I need to see it. So that's all part of it.
Right. Okay, that's fine.
We're on to 6.
5 is good. 5 is good, Mark?
Yep.
Okay, we're gonna go to 6.
And that seems fine.
6 is fine.
Yep.
7's fine. 8.
Okay, I think again, that's, yeah, what's appropriate to flag. I'm not looking to flag anything other than the limits of disturbance and to have them reviewed. But sorry, Richard, but I would have the staff approve the limits of clearing, limits of construction. I'd like him to see them in the field and give an approval before work commences.
There's no problem there. Just need notification so I can schedule that out.
So I would like him to approve. You guys struck that in the bottom of 8.
Is that okay, Mark?
Yep.
Well, thank you all for your time
Okay, we're
on
all
this.
set with 8.
Sure. Let me, if I may, just one more question. Richard, would you ordinarily like have I didn't add anything about a pre-construction meeting, but would that normally occur? Is that something we need to specifically call out? That the applicant schedule a pre-construction meeting with staff to review conditions of approval, to review startup, so that staff knows well in advance how the project is going to commence, who the contractor is, those kinds of details. Would that ordinarily occur? Do we need to spell that out?
I think that we could spell that out.
Okay.
Notification of that would definitely be very helpful.
Yeah.
Scheduling important dates and start times and then approving, the sedimentation controls. That would all be appreciated.
Yeah.
Richard and
Part of
Mark,
the
is that
wetland walk.
change okay?
I'm sorry, I heard a couple of people there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was asking Richard and Mark if they were satisfied with the change to section 8.
Look all
Sure.
right?
That'd be fine.
That should be associated with that walk to witness the wetland flagging and the location of the limit of construction.
Yep, it can all be one thing, absolutely.
That's fine.
So
we're all set.
since I have this document and the commission doesn't, I can email it to Mary right now if that's okay. I'll save it and email it to her. Is that okay, Mr. Chairman?
It's all right with me.
Okay. I'm gonna do that
Okay,
right
so
now.
Everybody got this so far?
Yep.
Mark, you all set?
I am, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Richard, you have a report in here already, right? So all we need is a motion to accept the report with the conditions as changed.
Sure, I'll make that motion.
I can second it.
Motion made and seconded. The regulated activity 1129 be approved of the summary ruling with the conditions as changed. Any remarks? We need a roll call vote. Dr. Mary,
Yes.
Jeff Harold,
Aye.
Mark Masood,
Aye.
Chairman says aye. Approved unanimously. Ward, one more meeting, we were going to ask you to get on the commission.
Don't forget, I was on it 40-something
Yes.
years ago.
Mhm.
Thank you very
Okay,
much.
you're all set, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Very much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay, I have to make you the host though. Excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
suddenly I'm not feeling well, so Sharon Calitro is going to monitor the rest of the meeting on my behalf. All right,
Oh, okay,
Oh,
Mary.
sorry, Mary. Hope you feel better.
thank
better.
you.
Take
Feel
care,
better,
Mary.
Mary.
Yeah,
Thank you.
take care.
Just give us a
Thanks, Mary.
second, Miss Bernie, hold on.
Yes,
That's me, sorry. Just give us a second. Mary's gonna make me the host and then you're still streaming and recording, so we're good.
That's correct. Do
Yeah,
you-
so just go click on me. Oh, Ralph's trying to get in.
All right,
I let him in. Okay.
okay, thank you.
I
So
think I did. Did you click on me and make me the host?
I did.
Okay.
Thank
You
you
should
so
be-
much.
Okay, you go. Take care of yourself.
All right.
I'm here. I'm just gonna mute myself and keep myself off video because I'm cooking. Sorry, guys.
Oh, okay.
Thank you,
No,
Sharon.
it's okay. No worries, no worries.
I'm really
You
not
know,
sure how to
meeting.
exit, but
You can just log out because now I'm the host.
thank you, Sharon.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Hi, Ralph. Welcome to the meeting. Okay, next item on
Hi,
the
Bernie.
agenda.
I had to unmute myself. Sorry. How's everybody?
Okay, that's all right. Next item on the agenda is regular activity 1132 Worcester School, 91 Myrie Brook Road. Who is representing that?
So thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, my name is Mike Jumper. I'm the Chief Financial Officer at the Worcester School. And between our last meeting and this meeting, I think we've learned quite a bit about the infill product that we're utilizing on the turf field. And it's an interesting decision that we made early on to stay away from the recycled tires and utilize a EPDM rubber. This is the third turf field that I've done over my career, and I'm sure the commission has approved many synthetic turf fields in the city of Danbury. And early on in my career, there was concern and there were reports relative to the use of synthetic turf. And very early on in my career, having worked in schools, the boards of education that I worked with insisted upon the use of EPDM rubber rather than the recycled tires that are used in many, many fields. And they did so for many of the reasons that Mr. Massot had brought up, whether it was water quality when we were constructing fields in the watershed areas down in the Katona-Lewisboro School District, or it was just student safety issues and studies that had been brought up in the early 2000s relative to potential off-gassing from ground up tires that were being used in fields. The boards of educations and the architects that I've worked with have always had the, in the three fields I've constructed, have always had the foresight to spend the extra money and to utilize a product that doesn't bring with it the same concerns as the ground up tires. So, so with that, I know Rob Champlin is with us this evening, and Rob has gathered a number of different reports, some of which were referenced by commissioner members. And I'd like to ask him if he would, if it pleases the commission, if he would review those types of reports.
Sure. Go ahead, Rob.
Absolutely. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for allowing us to present. I wanted to back up a little from the EPDM rubber on the, because I'm not sure I've done at least three, Mike. So I wanted to back up and go over some of the other environmental benefits of synthetic turf. And, first and foremost being it doesn't need water, doesn't need irrigation, so it cuts down on water usage. And this is relative to athletic fields, not lawns, but where athletic fields need water to sustain the usage that they get. They don't need to be mowed, so there's no emissions from lawnmowers. They don't require any fertilizers or pesticides, so that's cut down, into the waterways. And because the organic material that's typically on top of fields is stripped, so the field profile sits on a subgrade and it's very flat, and it stores stormwater and allows for maximum groundwater recharge. And on top of all those environmental factors, they're extremely more playable than natural grass. They are all weather, so you can play in the rain, snow if you plow it. Smooth, consistent surface, and it's safer for athletes from a lower body extremity. It's very consistent, very flat, so you don't get potholes or anything like that torn up from the mud. So now that I've gone through that, and thanks for humoring me there. The crumb rubber, as Mike has said, has been studied. These fields started, becoming popular in 2000. Then there were some concerns in Connecticut, especially, was kind of a bed of those concerns about the safety of infill. So that's why they had done a bunch of studies that I had referenced and that were shared. But also other states. I mean, there's hundreds of them. Other states in the United States, California, New York, I've studied it. Other countries, Australia, Europe, I've done a lot of studies on these things. And the Synthetic Turf Council has a web page. It's an industry group where all these are accessible that I can share if need be. So now that I've gotten there, Mike had alluded to the fact that we kind of took the extra step. We feel as a outdoor athletic field designer and builder, looking at the safety studies that have been done, we feel that crumb rubber is safe. But knowing the concerns, there are some real benefits to use of EPDM rubber as an alternate infill. First and foremost is the consistency of the product. It is a manufactured product as opposed to a recycled product. So they actually extrude, strands of EPDM rubber and chop it up. It is really long lasting. The product is used in a lot of, roofs and other outdoor applications because it holds up to the environment. It holds up to UV. It holds up to other weathering very well. A lot of these fields with EPDM rubber can be used a couple times because there's no risk of it breaking down. There's less risk of it breaking down. Everything breaks down eventually, obviously. But, UV and weathering, corrosion. Yes, sir.
Rob, just to clarify, what you're suggesting is that at times the crumb rubber, if you have to replace the actual green surface of the field, if you're using EPDM, they have machines that actually take the EPDM granulars out of the old field, and then you reuse it on the new field because it holds up so much better than.
That's correct. That's exactly right. So what happens is when the turf's at the end of its life cycle, the fibers start to lay over and becomes less aesthetically appealing. And at that point, you can, like Mike said, almost like a big vacuum cleaner, vacuum everything out, put it in bags, stick it off to the side, cut the carpet up, roll it, recycle that, and then spread everything back out. And what we're learning about this EPDM type rubber is you can get at least a couple fields out of it. So that's a very big benefit to this type of rubber. And it's also, and I guess first and foremost, it's leach resistant from what is, as opposed to the SBR crumb rubber that's typically used. We did include, a bunch of tests, some additional information on the EPDM. The testing was, there wasn't a lot of fluff with the test, but you can see that they compared it with the European Toy Safety Standard, which is the most stringent that they could find. And they found that this EPDM rubber didn't meet any of the thresholds. It passed everything. So I guess with that, I mean, that's the most up-to-date information that's available on this product. And we feel that it is an additional step toward safety and environmental quality with water discharge. And that's before, I guess, I think I mentioned last time that the stormwater drains vertically, drains down through the field profile. So you have the turf backing, you have an 8-inch stone profile and an additional foot. So, 20-inch stone profile over top of the pipes where any of this is collected for any kind of stone filtration that might happen before it leaves out of the pipe. It's detained. We have a weir plate on this one, correct? It's detained, it's held back. So the velocity of the water leaving is very slow, allows for any settlement of anything that may be in there, which, we feel is none. So I guess in closing, the end of the report, I referenced some of the additional studies that have been done on the SBR rubber before we even take the step of going to EPDM. And I can certainly share any more of those. I just went quickly through the Synthetic Turf Council website and grabbed what I thought was relevant. But like I said, there's many, many more. So I guess at this point, I'd open it back up to questions.
Yeah, I think Mark had a few questions. I've read pretty much what you sent me today. Mark, did you want to respond?
Sure, Mr. Chairman. Actually, contrary, at least to my knowledge, I don't think we've approved a synthetic field, or at least I haven't seen one approved in actually quite a while. When I saw your application, I had to, at least for myself, go and search for some information that would bring me back up to speed as to some of the issues with regards to synthetic turf. And just to clarify, I certainly limited any comments or thoughts in terms of the installation of the fields just to the stormwater runoff and its impact to wetlands, not ignoring any of the health and safety concerns, which are certainly for others to deal with. And the report the one report that I did find, and I haven't had the opportunity to look at your information that you've just given us, did actually have to do with the use of recycled tires. And in this, it's actually too bad. I guess you'd want to like the use of recycled tires in these products, but obviously they do have some issues. And the one report and the deep report that's online is from 2010. And it does reference the use of the recycled tires, and it does identify, some pollutants of concern.
Correct.
Which is why they recommended that, in essence, that stormwater runoff from a field be treated or viewed and treated as any other type of larger installation. And what I mean by that is to avoid direct discharges to wetlands and watercourses, and to use water quality measures as inland wetland commissions are used to recommending and attaching to the projects such as these. And also recognizing the fact that Myrie Brook has a wide variety of uses, at least in its area, and it goes from some residential, some benign reasonably benign residential uses to flowing adjacent to a portion of the airport prior to discharging into the Still River. But again, nonetheless, having said all that, we're not, as a commission, we're not used to approving activities that could discharge pollutants to a receiving water course without some kind of pre-treatment. So I guess what I'm saying, that was the basis of my remarks. So again, I know that you've submitted some information, and I myself haven't had the opportunity to review that, but I guess I'd ask, while we're here today, I mean, is there, maybe you could make some comments with regards to the amount of discharge that there is from the playing field. And I guess I would ask the question, is there the opportunity to avoid a direct discharge to Myrie Brook and to provide some kind of treatment for the stormwater prior to that discharge?
I'd probably take the second one first and say there is a form of pretreatment in the stone system beneath the turf, and the fact that the water is backed up in the piping system for the fields prior to discharge, similar to a forebay of any kind of water treatment system. And as to the amount of the field, without doing some math, I mean, the EPDM rubber was 1/40th, I think, in the test result of any kind of a harmful level as compared to children's toys, like if it's actually ingested. So I would call that unquantifiable, as well as, a lot of the other studies that have been done about zinc and drainage water. One, from Hofstra, it says after 7 years, there's no evidence that use of rubber infill, and this is SBR rubber infill, poses a risk in terms to the leaching of zinc. I know there are other chemicals of concern, but that was pretty much the main one that arose from the Connecticut study.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that we are providing both already.
Mark, do you need time to read that report before we do anything else here?
Personally, I would like to just look at that information. I'm speaking for myself, so certainly, the commissioner should chime in. And I'm not sure that we don't have a staff analysis yet either, from my understanding.
No, I don't think Richard is done.
Can we get an excerpted report that just covers the pertinent information?
Who's that from?
Is
Who
that
asked
something
me
that's
that, Rob?
available? I'm sorry, Bernie, go ahead.
Who asked that question?
That was Jeff.
Oh, all right. I think they need to go back and look at it. Richard hasn't had a chance to digest any of this, and neither has Mark.
Yeah, I'm just guessing the report is going to be rather sizable.
I would just, if I may chime in, that the test results that Rob has referenced are very easily digested in terms of the European standards. And it's probably 3 or 4 pages down into the materials that you've given. And what you can see is you can see the acceptable standard level in one column, and then the actual tested level of the heavy metal that was tested in another column. And in every single case, the level of heavy metals falls significantly below the benchmark that's established by the European model.
And I believe that was in the first report too, that I sent back. I sent another one yesterday in response to some comments, but That was in the initial reply that I submitted last Wednesday.
Okay, so on this report, I'm sorry, I have that last email in front of me now. So that was the A-Turf optimal performance. Is that just the sales pitch?
That is the sales pitch. Right behind that is the actual testing.
Oh, I got you. And that's 4 pages in here. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yep.
and if-
All right. That is the one I was already looking through. I was thinking you were referencing yet another report. I'm sorry.
Nope.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Okay, so Richard, you still need time with this?
Yes, I'll still need time to put together a report.
Okay. Mark, anything you want them to specifically come back with?
I'm happy to, no, I can't think of anything right at this point. I'm happy to look at that information as well. I guess I would, I'm sorry, the answer to the second part of my question was that you're already providing storage and stormwater treatment via the drainage.
Via the field under drain system. Yes, that's correct.
Okay, I'll be certainly, for my part, again, happy to look at the information in view of that, of those comments.
I think one thing to consider is if if you had approved a large construction project and an EPDM roof was put on that construction in the roof area, that's a flat roof, that's draining down drain lines and usually directly into, I don't know what, a parking lot or some sort of a stormwater type system. In this field, what's different is the EPDM is on top of the actual carpet, let's call it. The carpet has a backing which begins to filter things out. Then it runs into 20 inches of gravel before it goes into a pipe system, which then in this case would go to Mary Brook. So I think that's what Rob is suggesting is the treatment in contrast to the treatment that a large warehouse that has an EPDM roof might not have at all as it's discharged into a stormwater system. So,
Well, I guess that's kind of the point, though. Part of a roof system would create in what you're saying, Mike, in that kind of a situation, it would be looked at as part of the overall stormwater runoff,
right.
and it would normally be treated in some manner by an acceptable practice, usually according to deep standards, right from the stormwater manual, and it'd be a wet pond. And actually, honestly, it could include some underground storage and infiltration. That certainly is a practice that's encouraged these days. So, again, that's we can take a look at that.
I think what we're suggesting, Mark, is that that's what the subsurface of this field is doing, is that sort of detention and treatment.
Okay, fair enough.
Richard, you have anything to say?
I do not. I'm going to continue to go through this, also reviewing this article that was sent over, and I'll get a report out.
For the next meeting?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right now, I need a motion to table this until our next meeting.
I'll make
So
that
moved.
motion.
Who is that? Jeff?
I said so moved.
Who seconded?
Motion to table.
I'll second.
Motion made and table and seconded to table. Regular activity 1132 until our next regularly scheduled meeting. All those in favor? Oh, I gotta go roll call. Dr. Mary,
Yes.
Jeff,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
chairman votes aye. Motion's unanimous. Gentlemen, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is regulated activity 1133, Shady Knolls, septic location approval. And
Good evening. Good evening. For the record, my name is Ralph Gallagher. I'm a licensed professional engineer, offices in Danbury, representing the applicant, Mr. Douglas Bedard, who seems to be here. There he goes. He's on the screen.
Hello, good evening.
The application is for construction of a reconstruction of an existing dwelling, tear down and rebuild in order to make not only the dwelling, but the garage and the septic conforming, because currently nothing's conforming. I believe the existing septic is below the 440. I believe, I know that the existing garage is over the property line. And what we're trying to do is upgrade the property to have a newer, more conforming house with a code complying septic system. Who'd have thunk it? So our proposal is to obviously construct all the erosion sediment control ahead of time, and then work your way from the lake, which is a subsurface sewage disposal system, back up the hill to the foundation and the dwelling, and finally the landscaping. It's about a 10,000 square foot lot, so it's quite small. The house is quite small, so it's very little impact on anything, and we are here for your consideration. If the commission has any questions, I can certainly answer them.
Remarks, anyone?
Mr. Chairman, given what we've heard on the, a couple of applications ago, what jurisdiction does the Inland Wetlands Agency have over any activities below the 440 in light of First Light's comments? And I guess I'd ask you, Ralph, have you been in contact with First Light Power, and what's their position in terms of review and approval of your plan?
Okay, it's my understanding from both Bob Head back in the day and Brian Wood now, that if you don't do anything below the 440, which we do not plan to do, you don't need to go before them for any reason.
I thought I heard you say that the system was below the 440 line.
Correct, yes, the existing system is below the 440 line. The new one is not.
Oh, I misunderstood that.
Okay.
Anybody else have any questions on this? Richard, you have anything to say on this?
I do not. Mark kind of summed it up there. I have no remarks.
Okay, have you had a chance to look at it?
Not in great detail. I don't have a report together yet. I can get one together for the next meeting.
Okay, all right. Anything else from you, Mark?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Motion to table is in order till the next meeting.
Made the last one to table, so I'll make another one. Make a motion, we table this until the next meeting. Get my name in those minutes.
I hear a second.
I'll second it.
Thank
You
you.
don't
Mary.
have to
Your
put
name's
my
right
name
next
in the
to
minutes.
mine.
Motion made and seconded. Table regulated activity 1133 to our next regularly scheduled meeting, which I believe is on the 28th.
Yes. And Bernie, at this time, I can't make the 28th. I'm not sure if things will change between now and then.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion, vote. Oh, I got it. Dr. Mary? Yes.
Yes.
Jeff Harold?
Hi.
Mark Masood?
Aye.
Ernie Gallows and I. Motion carries. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
All right. And Bernie, I might not be there. Like I said, I don't know if I can be there on the 28th.
Okay.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Good night, Ralph.
Good night.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Okay, there's no public hearing, no applications, no administrative violations, made of correspondence. Adjournment's in order.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second that one so Mary doesn't have to.
Oh, I was about ready to press the button.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn at 7:55. Roll call, roll call. Dr. Mary,
Yes,
Jeff
It's new to
Harold,
him. He's only been doing it for a couple of years.
I know.
Aye.
Mark Mastood,
Aye.